Hey, welcome to Rolling with Olive. Let's talk about breaking down, but somewhere pretty. Our adventure in Badlands National Park is a rough one. Our first day, Danny had some work to do in the morning, so we pulled into the Baja ORV staging area, which is right outside the park. This place is stunning and almost a mini Badlands. As far as a place to stay overnight, it's perfect. A lot of the reviews talk about needing four-wheel drive or a high-clearance vehicle, but honestly, to us, it didn't seem that bad. Now, if it was wet or it had been raining a lot, I would probably avoid going too far back into the trails. But even still, right at the entrance, there's a large flat area that many people could share. We actually ended up spending a second night here at one point and managed to catch the sun coming up over the top of the true Badlands formations. It was incredible. Anyways, Danny finished up work for the day and we headed into the park. So far, our experience was amazing. Free, quiet parking, 15 minutes outside of the park. What more could you ask for? And we had great service, but Olive had other plans for us. We didn't get started till Danny got off work, so the plan was to drive through the park, stop at a few overlooks, and then make it to Badlands boondocking area on the north side. We wanted to spend the night there and then wake up early and head back into the park and do some hiking. We managed to make it through most of the park before the van completely died, and unfortunately, it was in a little bit more remote spot of the park. I spent a little time troubleshooting and decided it was a fuel issue which I could do nothing about. So Danny got on the phone with roadside assistance to get a tow, and I started to call shops. Now, without going into too much detail, I was pretty sure the fuel pump had failed, but that didn't make any sense because I just changed it days before we left for our trip, and I made sure to get a high-end one to avoid just this situation. I called the first shop with decent reviews and explained the situation and was told that he didn't think it was the fuel pump and that we wouldn't fit into his shop, but that he could take a look at it in the morning, so that's where we were towed to. Okay, so we got the van unloaded, spent a rough night's sleep on the side of the road, and then the next morning I waited for the shop owner to come and give me a hand. He loaned me a fuel rail pressure gauge, we checked it, and to his surprise it was indeed the fuel pump. So I got straight to work. I started draining as much of the gas out of the tank as I could in order to make it a little bit lighter. I then dropped the tank and removed the old fuel pump. I managed to get it all taken care of before lunch, so then it was just a matter of waiting on the part the shop owner had ordered for me, which, after 3 hours later, turned out to be wrong. Luckily, for me, he had someone in a town close to us that could pick up the exact same fuel pump I had installed before we left. But, unfortunately, it would be hours before they could get the pump to us. So, we made lunch in the van and waited. Waited about 3 more hours, that is. Finally, the new part arrived and I got to work, putting the new pump into the tank and putting it back in place, alone, without a jack. So with a little bit of jerry-rigging and some ratchet straps, I got it reinstalled. I put the gas back in and boom, just like that, we were back to running. Now up to this point, the shop owner had loaded me a fuel pressure gauge, a piece of fuel line, a fuel line disconnect tool, a little jumper relay thing, in 4 or 5 gallon buckets. He had collectively spent maybe 15 minutes talking to me and looking at the van. And yet, when push came to shove, he charged me $500 for a $170 part. But that's just part of it when you're on the road. You're very much at the mercy of others. So I tucked my tail, I loaded my tools, and we headed to the Badlands boondocking area to cook some chicken wings. Danny had picked up some jalapeno infused honey earlier in the trip, so we decided to make some honey-basted wings on our little portable grill, and it was a great call. We also busted out the portable shower for the first time and took hot showers. Between the amazing food and being clean, we were completely refreshed and got a good night's sleep. We woke up to a few furry friends in the morning, so I sent the drone up to watch them scale the cliffs. And man, the boondocking area is absolutely stunning. I ended up flying the drone around for a while, then we packed everything up and headed back into the national park. Take 2. Finally, a few days later, we were entering the park and we were going to get to experience Badlands for real this time, and hopefully with no breakdowns. Honestly, entering the park, I felt like I had seen and experienced most of what it had to offer, even if we didn't get to finish the loop. But getting out and truly hiking around some of the formations completely changed my mind. The colors and sizes are beautiful and humbling in a way. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to do the castle trail, which is the one that takes you through the main part of the park. but we did manage to do all of the shorter hikes along the mainland's loop road. My favorite being the Door Trail for sure. After finishing the boardwalk, there's an extremely short but stunning hike out into the formations. We were able to see so much wildlife, but easily my favorite were the prairie dogs, with a close second being the bison. It was so much fun to watch and listen to the prairie dogs bark at us and all the other people taking photos. On the first day, we managed to see a herd of bison, but from a distance. We didn't stop, because like I said, the plan was to experience the loop road and then get back to camp. Then, after spending an entire day in the park and not seeing them anywhere, I was worried I wouldn't get a second chance. But lucky for us, on the way out of the park, on the next day when we were just traveling, we came across a herd right on the side of the road, and they were so freaking cool. So yeah, that was our experience at Badlands. Not exactly a perfect trip, but the park is absolutely stunning. Anyways, if you guys liked this video, please leave a comment down below and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.